listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Archer After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Archer After Show.
Oh, I think we're pretty diverse.
Please.
What? You're black-ish?
Ish?
Well, what's the word for it, Lana? You freaked out when I said quadroon.
Imagine this!
You imagine it!
Both of you imagine shutting up!
Nice poll.
Wow.
On that note, we're three white guys.
As diverse as you can get.
Four white guys.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's not.
Come on.
Not
lest we forget.
decrease our numbers or anything. So everyone, Bing is for doing, and we're doing another AFTERBUZZ TV show for this week's episode called Dramatic Ambiance Crossing Over. Which I'm pretty sure is a reference to spies crossing over countries, but
I thought
also
it was
a little bit of a John Edwards.
Yeah, I
vibe
thought it was
going
a
on
John
to
Edwards
it.
reference, but
So why don't we all introduce ourselves for those out in internet listener land that aren't familiar. I'm Greg Goodness.
I'm Justin McGee.
And I am Dave Klein.
And of course, rockin'
Phil Svitek.
Yeah.
Coming straight off on Jersey Shore After Show.
Oh.
Jersey Shore to Archer. They're pretty much similar shows
One
in
and the
most
same.
ways.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of drinking in both.
Yes.
So
a
there
lot
you
of
go.
obscure
There you go.
references to European literature. It's all very on the level.
Actually, a lot of drinking in this episode, especially.
I mean, there's always a lot of
No,
drinking.
this was a
in it.
lot though.
Yeah. So, before we begin, we need to continue our segment called Greg Apologizes to the Internet, because apparently, Phil, you can attest to this, we were totally wrong about last week's episode of Archer. Because we're like, it's a reference, they cited it in the episode, of course it's a reference to White Lightning. Apparently, the entire episode based on
FX is Justified, which is awesome because they're doing cross promotion for another FX show, which Justified is obviously amazing. For those of you who don't watch, and they had an episode last season. The season finale of Justified was called Bloody Harlan, and the episode title for Justified, or not
Bloody
Justified, I'm sorry,
Furlan.
Archer was Bloody Furlan.
Yeah, we were grappling with that. We're like, oh, what does it mean?
I still stick with the Berlin reference that I made.
Yes.
That was completely wrong.
And what was funny is that
That's such an obscure reference, though.
Well, I mean, I like the cross promotion, and what's funny, if you really know Justified, is that it's all about the sheriff and things like that, and yet in Archer they parody that where basically he's Archer and Raylan. I'm sorry, Raylan is the character of Justified, and then Ray Gillette. It's funny because you have to see both, and it makes sense.
Does the sheriff walk around in Capezios and Justified?
He
I've never
does.
seen
He
it.
does,
Oh,
and he's
well.
the main character. And
Does
he's
he
the
really?
good guy. Whereas in Archer, they're making fun of it because they're obviously trying to get away from him because he's such a psychopath.
That I had no idea.
So there's not having seen Justified. Screw me over on Archer.
That's right.
Archer.
Gotta watch more FX.
Curtis, must watch more
Next
TV. All right, but enough about that episode.
Why are we doing this show? We need to watch Justified.
We need.
We need to watch both.
Oh man.
Both.
So, a lot going on in tonight's episode. A lot.
It's true.
Not least of which being the return of Barry.
Oh, Barry.
It's not that big of a deal. Not really.
That's a huge
Not
deal.
really, no.
He's a cyborg.
It is.
He's
It's
head
a big
of the
deal.
KGB now.
He, murdered Archer's going to be wife.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
Very big deal. He had one of the best lines in season 2 too, I believe.
Which was?
The is that how you get ants, other Barry? Yes, I believe it is, Barry.
Barry loves talking to himself.
I don't know why. Like, everyone's done it from the, like, there's always that somebody who refers to themselves in the third person, all that kind of stuff. It's a long go. I try not
What
to.
do you have that are like, yeah?
Okay,
Jeff.
none of them are normal.
Okay.
Sorry, friends, if
This
you're
is
watching.
primarily
or
while
listening.
Justin's in the car driving. He talks to himself like that.
It's other Justin that refers to himself in the third person.
Yes.
Not me.
Because that's not a total mind cluster at
Justin,
all.
you're in the car again, driving to AfterBuzz again.
But yeah, Barry.
There's not enough liquor and therapy in the world to undo that.
Barry back in action, and with apparently a master plot to destroy Archer and/or everything.
I would expect nothing less from Barry.
Yeah, it sounds like it must be everything, because the Archer DNA thing was just a side. Oh, it was just this was just for fun.
Yeah.
Which I thought was his master plan, because you would think that his main focus is just to tear Archer apart, just to like make him suffer the worst possible. And that's pretty bad. Like, he did think that him never knowing if Nikolai was actually his father, if that would just make him end up going crazy, which if I was Barry, that's how I'd do things.
Yeah,
Just
I mean
make
that's a really
go
vicious move, and on the viewer, not just on
Yeah.
Archer, because man, I've gotten to be quite the fan of Nikolai Jagoff.
Him and his little friend.
Oh yeah, we can't get rid of him.
Nope.
He needs to be a recurring character.
Oh yeah.
What was the line? I wrote it down. A28. Oh yeah, at me, buddy.
At me, buddy. Yeah.
Poor little Russian
who loves Marmaduke.
Everyone loves
Everyone
Marmaduke.
loves
A
Marmaduke.
very Marmaduke heavy episode.
But I don't know, maybe he'll end up surviving somehow, just like how Ray could walk again.
Yeah, that's true.
You never know. Maybe they'll pull out something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it though. That's not a prediction.
And I'm waiting to see what's on that tape, because there was a lot of stuff that they set up in this episode for the future of KGB, ISIS, Archer, and like just sort of the general direction of, I'm guessing, the country.
Now, why would that tape survive, whereas through an explosion like that?
Okay, but why would they set it up where it's like, oh, Sterling, if you hear this, what I want to tell you is, cut to him.
It is true.
I'm not disagreeing with you. That's clearly what they were doing, but I'm just thinking logically an illogical show. I don't know why. It's just like, but there's an explosion, and that's the whole point, is he's blowing up, so he has no DNA, but that camera's going to somehow survive?
Also,
it's like the Blair Witch Project. That should survive. No, but but in terms of the show, the stuff that survives, you kind of, it's like the smallest nugget of whatever you think is going to survive, you know what I mean? It always takes a turn that you don't expect, and it's always great, but you can't predict this show.
Yeah, that is very true.
You really can't. At least in my opinion. I don't know, Greg. Maybe you're smarter.
No, man.
I feel like
I've
it's a very
tried.
Well, that's why we
failed.
have the segments.
Greg apologizes.
Greg apologizes.
Because as soon as I think I'm absolutely certain on something, it turns out I'm horribly, horribly wrong.
I've got my top man on it. Or possibly bottom.
I tried to do a little dramatic sting at the end there.
I think that was the second time that that soundbite's been referenced to you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Has it? I haven't been on the boards in quite a while,
So it's a panel of people who think that I'm deserving of that quote, which is
that's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing.
Because I'm the top man.
You
right?
are.
Yeah. Totally.
So
yeah.
What did you guys think about that reveal, though? Now that Barry's the head of KGB, we're so used to having Nikolai there, where he's always. It's sort of that idea of it's looser, because you know that they're really not that big of a threat. But with Barry there now, they're probably going to be a pretty big threat, you know?
Yeah, Barry does. That's one of the things that they set up in this episode really well. Is Barry was a real for lack of a better term, dick.
Yeah.
But
quite a jerk.
now you get to see he's actually really unstable and willing to do some pretty permanent damage besides killing Archer's fiance.
Well, I think we already knew he was unstable. That wasn't the question.
But not this unstable. Not this crazy. I'm looking forward to it because I think it definitely is something that they're going to be able to play out over the next couple episodes. Definitely raises the stakes, and makes it something where they've been very good this season about having really high stakes contained in each episode. But now this gives us something similar to like the pirate arc, where you get to look forward week after week to
he could be
back.
Yeah, he's like he's a Dr. No type character where he just keeps or I don't know James Bond.
Well, he's almost.
But now that I think about it, but there was some agency that was always after MI6.
Well,
Yeah, sure.
I feel
Thank
like
you.
he's almost going to be in a sense, like Batman's foil is Joker. He's almost going to be Archer's foil, because that is pretty much his main purpose so far, is just to mess with Archer. We don't know what his grand master plan is, but what we really know is he hates Archer, and everything he's done evil-wise has really been directed towards Archer.
That's a pretty... I don't mean to completely disregard what you said, but that is a really awesome analogy that you just
How does
made.
that completely disregard what I said?
Like, because you said all this interesting, like, thorough analysis, and I'm like, oh, man, he referenced Batman! All right! That's really cool, man!
That's why. As long as you throw Batman in, everything is awesome. So that's why I did it. I could have referenced any other foil, but I used Batman
Golden
for that
Age
reason.
Batman or Dark Knight Batman?
Both. They're
Okay.
both awesome.
Okay, all right.
As
Fair
long
enough.
as we're talking about Mark Hamill Batman.
That's a very
Joker.
different kind of...
Joker. Yeah.
Yeah. That was maybe Barry before. That was the Barry Joker before.
criminals.
And
That's the old
now
school Adam
he
West
is Christian
Batman.
Bale.
No, that's Adam West.
What's his
Adam
face?
West,
Now
yes,
he's,
that's right.
Now he's
Heath Ledger.
the dead guy.
I
Terrible.
mean, he's not the dead guy. He's
Yeah.
a dead guy.
Yeah.
There are
Couldn't
many
think of his-
other dead guys.
Oh,
George
terrible.
Washington?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's who you're referencing. All right, man. So KGB, speaking of something that's large and threatening and all together a little bit sexy.
Oh, are we talking about Pam?
We are talking
Oh.
about Pam. I've developed. I gotta say, I've developed a
You
little
can't
bit.
put a price on good pussy.
You can't. And you know
You sure
what?
can't.
Pam is. I'll say it. Pam rocks. Okay. I love Pam as a character. She gets down and dirty. She knows how to drive, man.
Go wash up,
She-
dirty bird.
She can fight like
she
none
can
other.
fight. She can fight with electric,
electric
gloves.
And she can do other things with F words, as we found out in this
And-
episode.
And apparently really good at it.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
Best ever.
She grew up on a farm.
Can I just throw out that the way they opened to her and how you discover it was one of my favorite opening scenes, just for the sake that they were at a strip club eating chicken and waffles, and I think my favorite scene in this entire episode was the stripper getting down and Pam throwing waffles at
That
her.
is, oh my god. I'm not a fan of gentlemen's clubs, but I may have to go out and buy a pack of Eggos just so I can reenact that scene.
Yeah, you know,
man.
I've actually never been to a gentleman's club, but maybe let's go first time just with waffles, to throw waffles.
It's always better when you have a girl.
Or wait,
Like Pam.
or
This is
for all those LA people out there, since they were eating chicken and waffles, we'll go to Roscoe's and get Roscoe's chicken and waffles and throw waffles at strippers.
I don't think I have the money to let me be able to throw enough Roscoe's chicken waffles. I think I'm gonna have to go with the Eggos, if that's okay.
Although they would definitely appreciate it more.
This
the
is
Roscoe's.
Yeah.
It's definitely a higher quality.
You're gonna get a better dance
and not
after
frozen,
that.
because here's the deal: I'm not gonna cook these Eggos. If
Oh
we
my
buy
god,
them,
dude!
I am throwing frozen
no,
waffles.
because then that becomes like a weapon. They were clearly throwing like syrup moistened waffles, which is fine. If you chuck a frozen waffle,
it's like a ninja star.
yeah, man. You gotta have a little respect when you go into these clubs.
I still feel like they would enjoy
That's why it's a gentleman's club. You got to be a gentleman when you
Right.
go.
This is true.
At least have the
Gentlemen
decency
do not
to be
throw
a gentleman.
frozen
A gentleman
waffles.
bringing Roscoe's waffles.
I'm sorry, guys.
No.
Teach me your ways.
Uh,
Wow, yeah.
I'm in awe because what I wrote down when I first saw this is I was kind of like, so it's come to this. It's like, oh, Archer is sleeping with Pam. But it's really cool the way that they flushed it out. It's not just like this throwaway gag where it's, oh no, I slept with Pam. It's, Pam is really good at it, so Archer wants to keep going back.
Yeah.
And they're going to make it into a continuing thing, as based off of the ground rules that we didn't get to actually hear.
Oh, yeah.
So
we never got those ground rules.
Well, it's also funny how they completely intertwined it, too, into the plot of Barry and Nikolai. They completely intertwined it. It was integral to the plot of the episode.
Yeah, because he's going off and sleeping, and I believe as the episode description said, his procurity for sex distracts him from his job more so than normal. More than it usually does. But yeah, I kind of like this. I kind of want to see that. Because good, Pam rocks.
Yep.
She's no crazy Cheryl Carroll, which is a good thing. And, yeah.
And as we've noted, she is kind of a badass.
Yeah. Go get yours, Pam. You go, girl.
The electric gloves. So I really hope, though, she brings those out at some point. That's what I really want to see. Electric
I would say Pam actually gets more ass than Cheryl Carroll.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Unless you go ahead and say that.
Unless you count Krager's robotic arm that chokes her, I'm not sure.
That might
That's
count.
Yeah, that's what kind of
that might
evens the playing field.
Pam has had a three-way with Mallory. So
that is right.
I think
and a German guy.
I don't know. It's really it's really not even a matter of who's getting more. It's who's having weirder.
No, but I think Pam is. It's almost like you're kind of overcompensating because you think this girl never gets sex, and yet because of that she's getting more sex.
She's
I'm
like
sorry
a sleeper.
to go there, but I'm just gonna go there.
It's just hard for me to imagine her having more sex than Cheryl, though, because
Cher's hot. I agree.
Well, not because she's hot, just because that's all you ever hear about is that. It's like every other episode she's being a slut.
The line that I love, that I think sums up this situation pretty well, is that Pam is a chupacabra for dicks.
I have dubbed this now. She is a
Yep.
dickacabra. That's what I'm going to call her.
All right.
And it's my own turn. I penned it myself.
All right.
You're welcome.
Well,
You're welcome, listeners. You can use that too. A
trademark
dickacabra.
it. Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to know what it looks like unless it. Well, I guess it looks like Pam.
Sucking the soul right out.
Yeah, sucking the soul right out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, good for her. Like, I stand by my statement. Pam is awesome. You go get yours, Pam.
I agree.
And way to be empowered about it, not just be all like, well, Archer doesn't want to be seen in public. She's using him, as she explained.
Yeah,
to
she
Mallory.
even gives advice to Mallory based on it.
She's not as stupid as she
looks.
Which I never thought she looked that stupid. But anyways, sex is a emotionally charged subject, and I think it's fitting because this was an episode that had a level of emotional heft to it that we haven't seen in a really long time on this
Greg,
show.
did you by chance ride a segue to AfterBuzz tonight? Because that was a great segue into our topic.
Oh!
Okay.
You just out-segued me.
I sense that's not sincere, although I have no idea why.
I'm being sarcastic now.
I know.
This is a really weird episode. Not in that it's uncommon, but just, like I said, we haven't seen it in a really long time. I would go as far to say we haven't seen this kind of, at least intended, emotional punch since we were back at, Archer has cancer and very well may die. This is Archer not just, like, shrugging off what's happened to him and, like, the tragedy, etc., etc. It's him actually saying, oh, man, now I may never know if he was my father.
And everything could possibly change from here. I mean, this could completely just change the whole tide of how things have been going with Barry being another, like, a main villain, stuff like that, where, just like you said with the cancer episode, like, we didn't know during that episode, was he gonna get better from this or whatever? Like, that could have completely changed everything for him.
I thought that episode, though, was more... he handled it in a very comedic way.
Oh yeah.
Like, did you watch?
Smoking,
it's still my
chain
favorite
smoking
quote.
joints.
Is did you watch Regis this morning? I think that's my favorite Archer moment in the history of Archer. But I feel like this is the first time we've seen him, or one of the only times we've seen him truly look depressed and down, and that was how the episode ended. Was him.
That is true.
He didn't at all say some sort of joke. Pam ended with a joke about it, but he just never responded. He was actually seemed to care.
Yeah, it's not even just like, oh no, I have cancer, what am I gonna do? Which is kind of, you're right, how he handled it the last time. This is, he's not only upset about losing the prospect of his father, but this is the first time Archer mentions that, like, even though he's good at his job, he's really not that good at his job a lot of times. And this is the first time we've seen him actually call attention to the fact that he's negligent a lot of times, and that isn't a good thing.
Right, usually he just blows it off as like, whatever, and I didn't need to be there, and this is the first time. Like you said, he felt like, I should have been there.
Growing?
Sorry, I was picturing Whore Island.
Maybe that is the case. It's just he was, in the back of his head, that's why he was super serious, is because he was picturing Whore Island. But I doubt it. There's a lot going on in this episode.
He was picturing Pam Island.
An entire island full of Pams.
Pretty much.
I grew up on a farm. I hope that's
There's a lot
not
of
related.
cushion for the pushing. I will say that.
And he's pushing rope as we find out in this episode.
I can't believe that was the last line.
Yeah. Graphic episode. Not to get too far away from the emotional component, but I guess that ties in, is we had nudity, a little animated butt at the beginning, stripper
some
butt.
booby.
There was brain material literally going into Lana's mouth.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And
that was awesome.
Lots of graphic sexual references too. Seeing Pam just straight up on the toilet in the opening.
Yeah.
That was
amazing.
That was emotional in its own right.
Call back to Eyes Wide Shut.
Gosh!
Yes,
wow.
Eyes Wide Shut, please.
You want me to elaborate?
I honestly, dude, whenever you say Eyes Wide Shut, people are just like, oh, a big mansion with people walking around in masks. Like, no one ever thinks of
I just remember the opening scene when
where Nicole Kidman is sitting on the
toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
That's all I know.
And at that moment, he stopped watching.
Let's not elaborate from there.
So, but back to the emotional status of this episode, you also had the whole Burt Reynolds thing coming back too, and she was depressed about it. She was actually
Mallory
cared
a little.
Yeah, Mallory was
maybe heartbroken.
She for once kind of seemed to. Normally she's on top of her relationship thing, or she doesn't care. And even with Nikolai, she was like, "Oh, whatever, I don't care."
Once we debrief him, he's out on
but
the
I guess
street.
Who wouldn't be heartbroken after Burt Reynolds? Even
is seemingly ashamed to be with her
in public.
Perhaps, maybe. Yeah, it was definitely strange in that regard too. I love the way they handle it, because it's like, oh, Burt Reynolds here for a special episode. Yeah, where is Burt these days?
Wait, you're still dating him?
Yeah, isn't he coming back? So a lot going on in this episode. A lot being set up for the future, as opposed to the last few episodes where we've seen just like bam, bam, bam. Episode. Speaking of which, bam, 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 moving on, speed of light. We do have a really cool news topic coming up. We got some big news about other goings-ons at FX and what John Benjamin likes to do in his spare time.
So if you stop listening, I will murder you like Archer will murder Pam.
Right. So you'll also go and get down and dirty with them in private.
3 kegs, 150 gallons.
Okay.
So you know.
Of 11.
Yes.
Roll it. Do it. Quickly.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi. I was once like you. A lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Yeah.
Jiggle
Hey.
There's some Pam music for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, like we alluded to for the commercial break, we do have some pretty cool tidbits of
Very
news.
cool.
This one, not so much. Ooh, you should. This one, not necessarily super tied in with Archer, but as we all know, Adam Reed, the creator of Archer, has roots in Adult Swim. He created C-Lab 2021 and later Frisky Dingo. And since moving to FX, obviously, Archer has become very popular to the point where they're renewing it for another season and all that good stuff. So apparently FX has decided to continue on with that proud tradition of importing Adult Swim talent. They are developing another animated comedy. This one is actually coming from the Aqua Teen Hunger Force creator, Matt Malero? Yes.
Yeah, we'll stick with that.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. I'll just apologize for it now, so I don't have to do it
So you
next
don't
week.
have to next week.
But yeah, they're going to be developing something with him, and Danny McBride is among the voice cast. So I'm a big fan, so I hope that
huge Eastbound and Down fan.
Yeah, so
I would love to see that.
I expect good things.
You know, it sounds like FX is essentially just taking all of William Street, pretty much, because that was William Street, and they're just taking that.
What do you think? Adult Swim is the
Old school
farm
Space
team,
Ghost.
and FX is
It's
trying
the
to move up
big
to the
leagues.
major leagues.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I like their original works, and Archer, I think Archer's my favorite show that Adam Reed has made. So hopefully this will be a better Aqua Teen, because after season 3, Aqua Teen started to suck.
Well,
this man's opinion. So hopefully this will be even better than Aqua Teen.
There we go.
I mean, honestly, I actually, in terms of like a network, I really love FX. You know, you hear a lot of stuff about AMC and their original programming. If you look at it, they only have like 3 really good programs.
Oh, I love FX too.
Just in general.
Yeah, FX is almost consistently across the board.
They have comedies, dramas, everything.
Also, It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, comedy.
Yeah, I mainly watch their comedies, so.
Fair enough, but again, they're so good, and so congratulations to them for. You know, I've heard very good things in terms of their development program, in terms of writers and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like they use a lot of. I guess you could say underdogs too, in a way. Like Adam Reed, he was successful on Adult Swim, but that wasn't necessarily commercially viable, you wouldn't think. Yeah. And then It's Always Sunny that was their first show. So I feel like they're actually taking risks, which is cool to see.
Yeah. And taking risks in all the right places.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Talking about taking risks. That's also kind of ties into our second news story with...
Yes, it does.
John Benjamin doing electro music?
John Benjamin has a van. John Benjamin also has a band.
Yes, I like it.
He does.
Called The Perfect Storm.
In reference, as we pointed out before in the show, and I relish the fact, John Benjamin grew up in Massachusetts, like just around outside Worcester, where I hail from, and it's a reference to, obviously, The Perfect Storm, in which he says, and he's explaining the band's name at this performance in a weird little Brooklyn club. He's saying that the band's name was meant to eulogize those lost in the big nor'easter of 1991, during which, quote, a bleepin' lot of fishermen died. And so this was during I guess it's a sketch variety show that's put on at this club, and he came out as the musical act and did a weird, super serious electro-pop rendition of a song that apparently wasn't very good, but it was really more about the performance of it, where he's screaming at the crowd. The end result of which is my favorite. I guess my favorite line of the show I didn't see, but he just apparently screamed, "Get up, get the F up. If you get up, then everyone else will too. It's a mob mentality. What the F is wrong with you people?" And I love the idea of screaming at a crowd that they should be paying more attention to the mob mentality.
I agree.
So apparently it was a really weird show, and if you ever get a chance to check out John Benjamin doing electro music, I can't vouch for the quality of music, but
apparently not that good.
Sounds like a good time.
It does sound like a good time.
If I may proffer a suggestion, in bars all across this great nation of ours, Thursday night is ladies' night. Which means, as the evening progresses, we will get better looking, courtesy of 99-cent margaritas and 2-for-1 Jell-O shots.
Total non sequitur.
Yeah. It sounds like you were like, oh, there's a thing about a bar here. Oh, no, this was not what I wanted at all.
We'll let it play out, though.
I like that it was also like a 7-minute speech.
Speaking of 7-minute speeches, we got to wrap it up. So let's move on to the creepy theremin music. Oh, it feels so good.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
It's like
Your
sweet...
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
No, get that one away. I like the theremin music one. It's like sweet heroin coursing through my veins every week.
I wanted to be excited. Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
No,
with spooky music.
It must never change.
Just spooky.
Nope, it's never gonna change.
Spooky spider.
So we got a lot to predict this week. What do you guys think? What's coming up?
Oh, there's so much. I'm just gonna stick to one. I think, like we had already kind of said, hinted, whatever earlier, Barry will become kind of an overlord-like type villain that we will see more often. And we may see him in control of like maybe other smaller groups of bad guys, like the Cubans or the.
That's
still with
good.
the Russians, maybe.
Right.
I think that Pam and Archer are going to have sex in a bed of waffles. At least that's what I dream about will happen.
Who wouldn't want to?
I think, you know what, I think there's going to be more with, I think they're going to keep referencing Burt Reynolds. I think that's going to come back, and I'm actually really curious to see where the Archer and Pam relationship goes, because I think Barry is going to be a major part, but I want to see how they handle the Pam-Archer relationship.
I'd like to see it go on for a few
Because it's always also
episodes.
been the Lana Archer thing's been that underlying relationship they've been using, so this will be... You know, I'll be intrigued to see where this goes.
Piggybacking off that, I can't say what's on the tape, but I know we're going to see it eventually.
Yep.
And we're also going to find out what those ground rules are. And I bet that they are both hilarious and a little bit emotional.
What ground rules would a Dickacabra lay out? I asked you that.
We'll have to tune in to find out. So,
I mean, I predict. I mean, Lana has to find out, and I think if anything's going to kind of drive her back to Archer, this may be it.
An interesting theory.
Maybe. I don't know, but maybe.
That would be fun.
All right, that about does it for us. Biz it for Biz?
Exactly.
That about does it for us. Big thanks to Bing for giving us the opportunity to voice our stupid little opinions on the air. And
thank you, Bing.
I'm not. Oh, by the way, John Barrett wasn't here, but rest in peace, you good sir.
He's still alive.
That we know.
But he is just resting in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
3
right.
hours ahead of us.
All right, get out of here, Internet. Go home.
Yeah.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
And rate us on iTunes.
Oh yeah,
And
please.
You. Oh yeah, please.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principal.